Bombas. And I'm enjoying my day at the park. I like this look. But this Queen Bomba, alright. Queen Bomba needs to have a British accent. Hello, I'm Queen Bomba. Alright, I don't look like a queen. I'm just enjoying myself on the bench. Trying to get into this character that I'm creating. Queen Bomba. Okay. And so, Bombas is the Latin name for bumblebees. Okay. And I had this thing with this company called Bombas that makes socks. And I did not wear them. And so they have this thing where if you buy a pair of Bombas online, they will send a free pair to homeless people. And so as a homeless person, I got a lot of Bombas socks. And I bought a very, expensive purple pair at the Nordstrom's for $22. But the ones that I usually got were the black ones. And I still have some black ones. The thing about the black ones, and the reason why I'm not wearing them today, is the ones that you give out to the homeless people really literally cut off my circulation in my ankles. And I'm not even anemic. I just have tiny feet and white ankles. And so I find I can't wear them a lot, even though they're good socks, because they cut off my circulation. And I applied for a job as an art director, art director first and then copywriter. And neither time did Bombas try to communicate with me or even consider me. They got my application, but it didn't go beyond that. It's the typical thing. And I had put up a commercial, and I put up my Pretty Toes song, and I thought, I could use this to promote Bombas. I talked about my qualifications, which were very unique and something that they needed. And I put up this little commercial that I did of Bombas, Queen Bombas. I created this character, and I talked about, at the end of the day when my little feet are tired, I like to just curl up with a pair of Bombas socks. And so it was a cute little commercial. But even after all that, I never got any response from Bombas. And I'm like, okay, well, I could try to backtrack and contact their HR department. That's not how people do it anymore. You just get file 13 if you can't go past AI, with the keywords and all that other stuff. And so you don't even get considered. And so, but the thing is, I've lost out on jobs before. And I know rejection is God's protection, right? If I had not ended up quitting the Guitar Center, I would never have realized how much of a monopoly it is in a narcissistic, misogynistic one at that. And I'd still be working there. If Barnett Bank hadn't driven me out, I would be there when they're shredding all kinds of paperwork, okay? But I wasn't a part of that. And so when I've been rejected for jobs, and I could give you examples of jobs that I was rejected by employers where they ended up hiring someone worse than me, okay? Or where I left, and I said, you're gonna have to hire two to replace me. Oh no, my wife, Jackie can handle it. This is what my boss, Mark Andrews, was saying. I told him, you're gonna have to have two secretaries to do what I did. Oh no, Jackie can handle it. 6 months later, I walk in there, and there's two secretaries there, and Jackie's nowhere to be found, okay? I made it look easy. But when I wanted jobs, often the door was shut in my face. But there was always a reason. And so, I don't know what it is about Bombas. They don't want me as their art director. They don't want me as their copywriter. And they don't even have the decency to reply to me. So there's nothing human about the process. And with regard to Bombas, and this law really, it's in distribution and design, that you would basically just give these socks away to homeless people, not really caring that they don't fit properly. And so I'm thinking, and then they're based out of New York, but they have their socks assembled in China, so they're probably going through a whole lot right now. And so let's maybe give them the benefit of the doubt, because they might not have any available supplies to be given to people. But they should at least have the decency to say, you ended up on the cutting room floor. Hey, we got your application, but right now, and they can't even do that, just like my friend Britt. Trying to make time for me, promising me, but in the end, she doesn't have time for me. Not even to look at my YouTube channel to see what my music is all about. And so I learned my lesson. I said to him, no, I'm not going to be in the choir anymore because I just wanted to be close to my friend, and he backfired on me because he ended up spending even less time on me. And I realized I do not have to try that hard because I am a queen. To make friends and to have money. Okay? And so then I talk about living out my inner child and doing the things that brought me joy, like crocheting, like my friend. But then the traveling flamenco, you know, and how I'm gonna do more. The dust bunnies. I got a poem from my book Lucky Rhymes named Revenge of the Dust Bunnies. And so I'm gonna do some dust bunnies. And I don't care if you know it, because there's a poem in here called Revenge of the Dust Bunnies. And then I'm going to do some more. And this character I'm developing right now is Queen Bombas. And you know, I talk slow, but when I put it on fast forward, because I did that commercial, you see, and I did it in the Nordstrom's after I bought the socks, you know. And I had this little green vinyl tablecloth I bought at the dollar store. And I hung it on the door there, and I shot it in front of my green screen in the Nordstrom's bathroom. That's Subway. Okay. So my character, Queen Bombas, was named after this company, right? Because I was trying to do that one commercial, which they didn't seem to care about too much. And I fast-forwarded it a little bit. I sped it up a little bit because it had to be less than a minute. Because I was doing a commercial for my backstage audition. And so I did the Queen Bombas commercial, but I had to speed it up. And so that's why I did the Chipmunks thing with her voice, and it turned out really funny. So I'm going to keep that. But, you know, when I did it, I didn't have any accent this time. I really like the Bronx accent. I'll tell you why. Because I am fucking queen. Okay. And this Queen Bombas is my character. A grown-up character for me. I'm Queen Bombas. Although I may tell the kids stories about bees, because bees are very fascinating creatures. And I tell people this all the time, because, you know, my ex-husband used to do talks about bees. It's very fascinating. The thing about bumblebees is bees are female. They're male and female bees, okay? Male bees are called drones. But the person who leads the hive, okay? No, we're talking about bumblebees, because bumblebees are different from domesticated bees, okay? My ex-husband's dad was a migratory, domesticated beekeeper, okay? There's certain breeds, right? Bumblebees are the big bumblebees. They're the big ones that say, you know, you say, well, their wings are too small. They're not supposed to be able to fly, but they do, okay? They're big, and they're fuzzy looking, and they're black. But bumblebee hives are made by the queen bee. So a queen bee makes a hive, and then she lays her eggs in the hive that were fertilized from the previous year, right? And then they grow up into bees. Okay. Now, some of them will grow up into queen bees, right? But only the fertilized eggs, the ones who get the royal jelly, become queen bees. And then she lays a whole bunch of worker bees, which are female, okay? But they're unfertilized females. And they're the ones with the stingers, right? When you get too close to the bee will sting you if the bee feels like they're in danger. And what happens is that bees don't have a retractable stinger. In other words, when they sting you, they leave their stinger in your skin, right? And then they die, okay? But male bees don't have stingers. Now, male bees are unfertilized eggs too, but they're only haploids. So they only have half as many genes as a female bee does. And there's a reason for that, right, in the queen, because then what happens is where their stinger was is their dinger. Okay, we'll just say that because this is for grown-ups now. This isn't for kids. Okay, their stinger is their dinger. And so basically the queen mates once. She flies through the air, she does this dance, and the male bees chase after her, and they leave their little dingers in there. And then she's fertilized, and they die, right? They do all this just to have a moment with the queen, okay? And so the bee is, but the workers, this is what it is, okay? Because a lot of narcissists will say, I'm like the bee going from flower to flower. Okay, first of all, bees are female. We're the female, right? The fertile, the female bees, the girl bees are the workers, okay? They're the ones that go from flower to flower and collect the nectar and the pollen and all that stuff, right? And they regurgitate it out of their second stomachs, and that's how they make honey, okay? So basically, honey is just bee vomit. But the thing is, they're the alchemists. The males in the hive do nothing but mate with the queen, okay? That's what they live for. And then, when it gets cold in the wintertime, the first ones to go are the drones. Because they're useless, right? And beyond. And this is like it is in my life, right? I got my ex-baby dead. 38 years. And he's going out flitting from flower to flower, trying to pick up chicks, using my energy. And so somehow I feel like Queen Bombas needs this accent. So I'm going to do this because, in the end, she's real tough. The queen is tough. She's tough. She's so tough. When the male comes and mates with her, his dick falls off. That's how tough she is. Okay. Definitely not for kids. Okay. I can't do this for kids. Okay. And you know what? Bombas doesn't have license for this name. I think I can call myself Queen Bombas. But if not, I don't care. I don't care about this job, is what I'm saying, okay? Okay, Bombas, you do have problems. And I'm acknowledging that. And, if it has to do with my political point of view and you don't want to mess with me because that's like messing with fun, I get it. But there's something about me being Queen Bombas. See how my hair is? Okay, my hair is purple. I like to do the purple braids, right? Because tomorrow's Derek's birthday, okay? And I promised him something special, but I really don't know what it's going to be. I thought maybe I'd do one of my music videos. I'm going to do a video for my hubby, just 30 seconds. Hello, hubby. This is Queen Bombas. This is your queen. And I'm going to have to fast forward this, right, because I only get 30 seconds. And I'm going to say this. Don't I look good for you? And can you imagine a day, very soon, when you come home to my hive and I let you suck on my toes? Because I sent you that picture. The one, my video where I sang Lithium. And I asked you, do you remember what you were doing when I sang that song? What it was your mama was making you crazy. And they were making you take those drugs from Centerstone. And we were in the home 2 suites, and there was these 3 witches downstairs wanting to bag you and get rid of me, watching my channel. And I was doing this song. My ex-husband hated Amy Lee, Bring Me to Life and Lithium. And I was singing that song because they were making fun of your gut because you were taking all those drugs that was making you all drugged up. And you said, this isn't me, this isn't me. And then I started playing that song and you was down at my feet playing with my toes. Do you remember that? I'm talking to you and you can't even hear me. And I'm saying, tomorrow's your birthday. 52525. And you know what? I'm going to put it up at 5:25 in the afternoon. No, I'm going to put it up at 20:25, 8:30. What is it going to be? I don't know. Broken boy? It's getting very overcast here. I'm not going to have space for all this. This is about 20 minutes of me droning on, and really what I need to do is this. I got the Bombas character down. I just need to do the commercial. Hello, I'm Queen Bombas, and previously I did a commercial for Bombas Socks, a socially responsible company, which I have issued proposals to. Actually, what I did was I applied for a couple of jobs, and I haven't heard back from them. But it's okay, because now I got this character here. I discovered Queen Bombas. Look at my hair. It's springtime, and I'm just enjoying this park. It is an overcast day here, but I wanted to take a couple of opportunities to tell you a few things. First of all, I'm here with my traveling companion, Fernando the Flamingo. I'm doing more stuff with my children's channel. So if you haven't signed up, and I know you haven't signed up because I don't think anybody signed up yet, Starseeds Kids. I am about to do a little commercial for Starseeds Kids, and reading my poem, Revenge of the Dust Bunnies. It's a great story, and I got some more characters, Dust Bunnies, coming from my book. Okay. But this whole thing with Bombas is, even if they rejected me, I always say this, I've been rejected for jobs before. Usually for somebody that wasn't even as good as me. But what you say is, when God closes one door, he opens a window. Rejection is God's protection. And what you have to do is face rejection and look for that as an opportunity to do something different. And so I could be devastated and say, Bombas, you didn't hire me. And now I'm going to wish all these nasties on you. But Bombas has got stuff to go through, right? Because they get their socks from China. And so they've got other issues to deal with that have to do with product and distribution and all that other stuff. So I'm not going to make it about me. I'm just going to turn this into an opportunity to capitalize on this here character that I developed. Not just for kids. Queen Bomba wants to wish her hubby, who is still rotting in a Florida prison, on his birthday, tomorrow, 525-2025. It's about numbers, 52525. It's the same number, forward and backwards. And I know there is some significance to that. I don't know what's going to happen, really. Sometimes God likes to surprise me, but he says it's going to be a really good present for you, babe. And so what I'm going to do here is tell you about my kids' channel. If you got kids and you want to go on there, that's free. Kids, Starseeds Kids, StarSeedskids. And I did put up my first video, Fernando the Traveling Flamingo. And I'm going to warn you, it is kid-friendly. But he was smoking cigarettes and drinking wine when he went to Paris. But he's done with the partying days now, okay? All right? And then there's another one that I have, Huggly Buggly and the Magical Fart of Wind. And yes, we do use the F word, the fart word, okay? So that's about as objectionable as my kids' channel is family friendly. Now, with regard to this character, I'm going to tell you, I am a queen. I realize this. I am a queen. Okay? These are all about alchemy. They are alchemists. They literally take nectar from flowers and they process it in their second stomachs. Honey is basically bee puke. And not just any bee. The female bees are the workers. And the female bee is the queen who lays all the eggs. She's the mother of the hive. And she is really tough. But she also, because this is why she has a Bronx accent. I don't know what kind of accent this is, but I'm tough. And so I don't put up with no bullshit from people anymore. Okay, this is not kid friendly, this advertisement, because what I want you to buy is to sign up to my channel. Here's the thing, I have to do this channel. It is about healing. And I'm gonna have a segment on here for grown-ups. Whether it incorporates this or not, I don't know. But I want to entertain grown-ups too. But I also need to make money. And the thing is, I spent the last $6.26 I had on cheap New York coffee. But it's at the Southern Farms, and it's the Korean ladies that won't be $1 a piece. But now, I got no money for nothing. I gotta go back to the shelter for lunch. Hopefully they have something good. But I got product I can sell. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit. I showed you my little dress. I'm going to show you more of that because I actually crocheted the jacket. I'm working on crocheting the jacket. What I got here, this is my series. Okay, it's a subway. I was telling you about how I started my channel in 2018. And look. This is Bamboo Bliss. This is one of my collection, part of my silk collection. And you know, here's the thing on Redbubble. This is the only digital silk hybrid that I had. So when I did this, I had this design for many years. I tried to perfect it. But what I realized was that I could paint this bamboo in silk beautifully. But I could only digitally paint this, my Bamboo Bliss, my panda bear, digitally. And so I married the digital with the silk. And so this is, I guess, what would you call this? I don't know. This is the only design that originated digitally, but on silk. So it's like half and half. And this is the thing. I freaking love pandas. I love pandas. One year, my daughter did a cross stitch of a panda eating bamboo. I love it. And you know what? One time I did a Build-A-Bear for her when she was a baby. And it was a panda, and I put a thing in its hand that said, "My name is Share. What I need." It means I love you. Hi there. You gonna kick me out? Okay. There's nobody playing b-ball outside of the school in this park. It's empty. It's perfect for me. Anyway, here's what it is. Okay, I got my stuff on Redbubble. I'm gonna put the QR code up on the end on this product, and I'll actually show you some of this product. This is my Bamboo Bliss drawstring, and this is the medium one, I think. This isn't even the large one. Okay, and it can hold my UPO. This is 11 by 14 UPO pad. Okay, and they're really okay. So this is nylon mesh, and it's really super strong. And this is the thing that I didn't that I liked about those Arts Cow bags, because they were nylon mesh too. And it's the same on the front and the back. See, same on the front and same on the back. And the same with this pouch. This is a medium-sized pouch. Okay, and so this. Oh yeah, you too. And so this one will not hold like long paintbrushes and stuff, okay, but it'll hold the majority of I've got my makeup in here. So, and so there's all kinds of products though from my Bamboo Bliss collection, okay. And then the thing about it is, if you're an artist too, and you get signed up with Redbubble, you can do your own designs. Now this thing here is not my art, okay. It was actually done by a guy named, I think his name was Connor, when we were at Universal Studios. He did a caricature. And I bought the caricature, I had it framed, and of course, that was all stuff that I lost. But I was able to make this. Okay, and for me, really, because this has to do with Love Beats reunion, right? And when Derek gets out of prison, he's supposed to be my drummer, right? And so this is the only thing I have left. And so I wouldn't be using this for promotional material for our band. But I'm only doing it as a consolation prize to myself because somebody else owns the original print. I tried to do my Mount Rushmore, okay? And what I had was depicted a sketch of Mount Rushmore. It was sort of as a joke. You can go back and see my video. But I had a picture of Toadie, right? Because Toadie was a character in Mario Kart, Mario Brothers. And that was what Stormy Daniels nicknamed Donald Trump's head, his penis, right? And so when I was doing my homeless blanket orange effigy doll, right? I used Donald Trump's head for the, instead of a fig leaf, I put a toadie. Okay, so I had this mock-up of Washington Monument with Toadie. Okay, that was the joke. But then I tried to print it out on Redbubble, and they wouldn't let me, obviously, because of the copyright checks. Because even though I had only meant to print it up myself, I was using a trademark character from Mario Kart. So even me putting it up here, I don't know, Mario Kart's going to sue me. I don't know. But I can't print it out through Redbubble. And so, and I appreciated that. Because when I uploaded it, I'm like, okay, why are they doing checks on it? And then they rejected it. And they said why. And I said, okay, I appreciate that. But I'm putting it up here so you can see what I was talking about. And remember, Mario Kart people, I've been shadow banned. I don't make any money off this anyway. But that's the thing. On this channel, the part for the grown-ups, the part about the healing, the part about entertaining you and sharing my stories is going to be private. And so I'm going to get people to sign up either to my website and police it through my website. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it. But one of the ways you can support, always the way you can support me is by going to my GoFundMe page to help me get my husband out of prison. Right now, there's no reason for them to keep him there. He has all kinds of confession letters from Anastasia saying she lied, from his mother saying that she killed his baby mama, even from Valerie Tollard saying that she lied, even threatening to hire hits on us. But the thing is, the way these people are terrorists, right? They're just holding my husband hostage because they think it's going to buy them more time. The truth is, tomorrow's his birthday. And, it's very ugly to think about the truth of the matter, which is that these people were witches. Are all witches, right? And they're not, Jezebel doesn't care about her children, but she doesn't care about yours either. And how this whole story with Dan Etienne is really scary. Because I know, about these satanic rituals, right? I saw Frank Luciani and his wife, Pamela, offer up a blood sacrifice with those Lee County Sheriff's officers. I have the pictures to prove it, that they were there on that night. And, I've seen, the one voodoo doll smashed up against the front of K&M convenience store. The morning, the morning before I got arrested, because I got arrested Sunday. But this is what it is for me, okay? I don't know about Lady Bombas. You can buy my stuff on Redbubble. I get a small commission check, which I haven't gotten distribution yet, but I should. And so if you buy my bag on Redbubble, there's scarves, there's all kinds of stuff on there. So I'm going to give you my QR code. That's probably the fastest and easiest way if you don't want to donate to my PayPal. But I'm going to make this channel private. And the thing is, I got my medical card last Friday, and I really want to share more of this stuff. I should twist this around the other way. Do I want to do it on YouTube? I don't know. I can do it this way for today. But my Redbubble stuff, I got such great collections, though, that's the thing, and I'm adding more. I'm actually adding more. I'm working on more fabric designs, because I'm like, I don't have any of that old stuff. I just have the digital files that you can buy if I uploaded it, and the new stuff that I'm working on. And I'm really good. I'm really good with fabric. I learned so much on my own by experimenting with silk that I was trying to share with people, and I plugged Dharma for so many years, and they just fucked me over. I just give so much of myself to people, and I have to realize just the more you give to selfish people, the more they'll take. And I gotta recognize my value, because I'm a fucking queen. I'm a queen. And, really, you know what? Developing this character. Queen Bombas. I am Queen Bombas. So I'm not gonna use a Brooklyn accent. Because I am tough. And, this is my character. Queen Bombas.